Good evening, everybody. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and I made a presentation on the 25th of September about NBC Revolution, and YouTube apparently didn't like it, so I'm going to make yet another one, and I'm going to stick strictly with the facts here. Okay, now, do you guys recall the very first episode of NBC Revolution? The main character comes in, he's telling his family the power's going to turn off, it'll never turn back on again, and he walks outside and he sees his electrical transformer suddenly get this big surge of electricity, and sparks are flying everywhere, and it starts fires everywhere. Do you remember that? Okay, now let's picture this. The very next scene is 15 years later. Okay? Now we've had 2 seasons of NBC Revolution. So that means that now we've had a span of 17 years since the power turned off. Now I'm sure the first few days after the power turned off, some people tried to maintenance those electrical transformers. They tried to maintenance the transmission lines. They tried to maintenance the fuse boxes. You know, after a while, nobody tried to do anything. Now, you say, well, what are these electrical transformers actually made out of? Okay. They've got aluminum and copper in them. As a matter of fact, that copper is wrapped around paper. And then all this stuff is stuck in a mineral oil. Okay? And if you want to know the exact way that these things are made, I got a link down below that will show you exactly how these things are made. But the thing is that after a while, the outer casing of the transformer will develop leaks. And then rainwater gets in there. And that rainwater mixes with the mineral oil. And it corrodes the mineral oil, which then corrodes the copper and the aluminum. So over a period of 17 years, these electrical transformers are being corroded. Now you turn the power back on. What do you think's going to happen? Sparks are going to fly all over again. Fire's going to be everywhere, especially if you're in a dry wooded area. You know, you have an area that's full of drought. You light one of those things back up again. Whew, there you go. Now let's just suppose that the power actually makes it out of the transformer and to the house. Now, for 17 years, nobody has maintained a single fuse in their house. Why would they? They don't have any power. They're not going to have any power. They know this. Now all that power is flooded into that fuse box? Are you kidding me? There goes your house up in smoke. And let's not forget that no power plant whatsoever has been maintained for 17 solid years. Okay? Think about that. You think those things are just going to suddenly burst back into life and everything's going to run normally and smoothly? Give me a break, people. And what about them transmission lines, huh? Well, they haven't corroded either? After 17 years? Give me a break. Maybe not all of them, but I guarantee you many of them have. Or storms have knocked them down. Now you flood power back through them. It's not going to be a pretty picture. But it gets better. What about the natural gas that most houses use to cook with? That fill up their, that work their furnaces or their water heaters. Now that starts starting to flow through again. You mix that with electricity? Are you kidding? You gotta think this thing through. This isn't even the Twilight Zone. I appreciate the Twilight Zone. I just don't appreciate this show. They just don't tell the truth. And I think it's about time that shows like this give it more honesty. This is more fantasy than you'll find in The Wizard of Oz. It just doesn't fit the facts. So hopefully you learned something from all this. And I'm hoping to tell you people some new stuff in a future video. I want you to stay tuned.